BONELAB is Stress Level Zero's new hit VR title. This is my adventure of a few levels during the campaign. Enjoy. I appear in an unknown room. I see a door, prompting me to knock on it to be let in. You know your boy would never disobey authority. I am a law-abiding citizen after all. After moving past a couple of enemies, I try to holster my weapon on my side with no avail. I then realize I have to put this gun in one of my back slots, sacrificing one of my sledgehammers in the process. You can never be too ready for any sledgehammer-related activities that may arise in your BONELABing. I pull out a chair to read my favorite book, Monogon Industries. After about 2 seconds into this work of art, I lose attention. This truly says a lot about our society. After executing this null rat, I progress onward. I find this null body, and this key. I go on to historically accurately recreate the tragic events of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and move on to the next area. I enter a vent where an apparent rave is taking place. These darn kids will party anywhere, even in the non-ventilating vents of a late 90s computer company's headquarters. I move on past the server room to what appears to be the back rooms. Wow, so spooky. The only thing that could make this better is loads of unneeded Bendy and the Ink Machine rejects roaming around for no reason. I drop down this pit and end up in some sort of display museum. I find a PC just lying around, and these motherfuckers have a dual monitor setup. In the 90s. Hell, I don't even have a dual monitor setup and it's 2023. Jealous, I destroy both the monitors and the PC tower. I move to the final area and meet Jimmy, who has something important to say.
Hello everyone, it's me, Jimmy. I'm here to tell you guys that less than 1% of everyone watching right now is subscribed. So if you like the rest of this video, make sure you subscribe to see Hazzy's future content.
I awake in a room surrounded by darkness. I see a light illuminating the circular pad. I walk towards it, and suddenly, as I walk onto it, I get flung in the air at Mach 3. I find myself in a bright, grass-filled room. I look to my left and see a metal ball that's almost as heavy as your mother. I chuck the ball into this hole in the floor, and it opens the door to the next area. I'll tell you, this is not the first opportunity opened up to me after grabbing balls. In the next room, I find an Alice in Wonderland style set, with floating furniture, tables, and teacups. I move up to the room on my left and find a couple of skeletons. After taking care of them, I move past to find another ball. This ball opens a door which leads to a room just completely full of balls. Jesus Christ. The rate of which balls are being showed to me is unfathomable. Who does SLZ think they are? A Hollywood producer? I find a power puncher, and then a room full of skeletons. I complete the ball puzzle for this room, then move on to another room, which is just another empty area with a bunch of enemies. Remember in my BONEWORKS video, which you should watch after this video if you haven't already, when I said that the enemy placement in Tower is lazy because they just throw a bunch of enemies at you? Well, at least in Tower, there's actually rooms with design and things to mess around with. This video was incredibly hard to make just because of how bare bones these levels are. I move on to the climbing section, which gave me flashbacks to Pillar Climb the first time I played it. I instantly get nailed by this stupid ass enemy which I despise with all my being. I climb my way to the top and fling myself to the next area. Turning a corner, I see the chillest dude in all of the void. Of course, I could not let this poser take my title, so I get rid of him. After stealing his prized possessions, I make my way to the staff-only room. Immediately after entering, I find 2 Uzis just lying on a table to my right. I'm not sure what threats warrant the staff being armed to the teeth. Are one of the cleanup boys going to stumble upon some sort of cryptid or something that warrants being executed? If so, these are incredibly unsafe working conditions, Myth, and I'm gonna have to get OSHA on the line if these continue. I enter a sewer and come out the other end to a room with toxic green sludge. This will be your stomach if you keep drinking those fizzy pops. After progressing over the radioactive waste, I find a grim crime scene. 2 dead corrupted nulls with a corrupted null perpetrator. A horrid scene that we see almost every day. Null on null violence continues to be on the rise. One moment you're just chilling with your null buddies and the next you're a statistic. I make my way to the sewer section of this level. It's a pathetic ripoff of BONEWORKS' incredible sewer level. While that level was genuinely unsettling and used enemies to create a looming sense of danger, this sewer section just throws a bunch of crablet jump scares at you every 5 seconds. I complete this boring ass puzzle and move past this area to the treadmill bit. After this long and boring path of just walking and killing, I make my way to the vibe room. I have nothing funny to say about this area, I just want you to know it exists. I make my way past it and take out these 4 Omni projectors in my way. I climb to the top of this unusual apartment complex and enter the next area. I find myself at a train station, as per usual with these videos, and see a train zooming by. In an action to try and stop the train, I try moving a vending machine in front of it. The instant it touches the floor, it disappears faster than my father. I throw a box instead, and it gets completely destroyed by the train, so I decide to make a run for it. This works out, and I make it to the other station. I progress to the main area and walk through the void leak in the middle of the station entrance, hurting myself in the process. This truly is a commentary of modern day America. Bravo, SLZ. I find myself in the mines, and there's no children to be found. Wow, Myth. Are you trying to go bankrupt? After playing with this walkway for about 5 minutes, I find myself in a room with tons of writing on the walls. These Fantasyland workers are overreacting. So what? Your world was just abandoned and left to rot. There are starving kids in Africa, for crying out loud. I find my way to the final area and ascend.